very least distract from all the other things that the administration and Elon Musk are doing. But of course, at the same time, you have others saying, do not take this lightly. Or with people sharing takes like people dismissing the idea of Trump winning a third term because of constitutional term limits are underestimating the far right's willingness to circumvent the law by any means necessary. Which I will say, as far as how the right has responded publicly, it's been a very interesting mix. Right, on one hand, you have some downplaying the comments or at least echoing left-leaning outlets and refuting the viability of such a move. But on the other hand, you have others implying this is a real possibility and some even cheering for it. And this is you have multiple right-leaning outlets painting this as a loophole without any mention of the 12th Amendment or other legal obstacles. With this including the New York Post, which also tried to preemptively downplay the fact that Trump, who will already be the oldest ever president when he completes his second term, would be nearing 87 years old at the end of a hypothetical third term, writing, a small handful of leaders have led major Western democracies well into old age. Which one, it is crazy that this is even a conversation that's being had. And two, I don't think we could technically call America a democracy anymore if this were to play out. You know, ultimately, that is where we are. And of course, I'd really love to know your thoughts here. Do you see this as bluster to make him seem stronger? It's a distraction tactic? Or no, do you think he would actually go for this? But then from that, let's switch to a different kind of news and let's talk about us entering a new wave of Chappell Roan backlash. Right, in that, because she was just on the Call Her Daddy podcast and she made comments about an artist's role in discussing politics and it's pissed a lot of people off. And so with that, let's start with her noting that people have different expectations for her as a gay pop star. Saying on red carpet, she gets questions about issues related to the LGBTQ+ community, but arguing that just because she's opinionated on and impacted by this topic does not mean she knows every single thing about every single issue. With her then going on to say that she doesn't know how any artist could manage having a full career and fully formed views on so many subjects.
How can these girls tour, write, perform, interview, sleep, eat, and work out, and like how can they do it all and lead a team and be a boss and pay people and be like so politically educated? It's
exhausting.
And it's also impossible. Also, why the are you looking to me for some political answer? You think I have the answer?
But you're like, listen to my song, bitch. Turn it up.
Like, I'm a pop star. I wish I had the answers. I wish the president was a pop star. But she's not.
Right, and what we saw were those comments irking a number of people, with some saying that it was out of touch for her to suggest there's not enough time to educate yourself because you don't have to be a pop star to have a busy job, right? Arguing that tons of working people, they educate themselves. And this is, others were mad because they think Chappell's using drag and making political art, but still wants to be excused from political conversation. But then also, for a lot of people, the backlash stemmed from the fact that her comments, they don't exist in a vacuum, right? It's not the first time that she's given her thoughts on a celebrity's role in politics. With people noting last fall, she faced backlash after telling The Guardian that she didn't feel pressure to endorse a presidential candidate because she sees so many issues with our government in every way and there's problems on both sides. And there, you had a number of people think that it was irresponsible for her to put both parties at the same level when one is clearly worse for LGBTQ+ rights. And she ended up making 2 videos following up as criticism of her was just getting louder and louder.
I have encouraged people to use critical thinking skills, learn about what they're voting for. Actions speak louder than words. And actions speak louder than an endorsement. No, I'm not voting for Trump. And yes, I will always question those in power.
Trump for real, but some of the that has gone down in the Democratic Party that has failed people like me and you. Yeah, I'm voting for Kamala. But I'm not settling for what has been offered because that's questionable.
And so it was just this whole big ordeal. The backlash blew up for a number of reasons. And I mean, you saw a wave of op-eds on celebrities in politics. And so that's why you had a number of people saying that after that whole situation, it just didn't make sense for Chappell to go on Call Her Daddy and suggest that as a singer, she shouldn't be turned to for political discussions. Or with a number of people arguing that it was her who positioned herself as an activist in the first place. With some writing, love her lots, but babes, you were the one who claimed using your voice and all that was important. And she was so fucking opinionated and politically active when she claimed both parties were equally bad. What happened? Trump got elected and she's now suddenly just a girl? Or with a number of people arguing, she dipped her toe into politics by having so much smoke for Biden and Kamala, but now is saying she's just a pop girly who's too busy to keep up. But also, notably as, of course, there are a lot of people defending her as well. They're saying that Chappell has made it clear what her beliefs are through her work and by platforming other queer artists, so she's walking the walk and that's enough. And this, as others argue, that Chappell isn't saying she isn't politically educated, she's just saying she doesn't have all the answers, so people shouldn't be looking to her for them, which is true. Though then also with this, I'll say it wasn't all just pure political backlash. Backlash. Because there was a whole other side to the controversy from this podcast, because she said that all of her friends who were parents at her age are miserable and in hell, which, then just spawned massive conversation, so many videos, people going into one or two camps, right? A lot of people supporting and embracing the no kids life, and then you had a lot of parents going, hey, I love my kids, like they bring me so much joy. And personally, I have no strong feelings about that controversy. Everyone's different, everyone wants different things, everyone shouldn't be a parent. And her saying that, it's not an attack on me or my life. And there are realities like, my children can fill me with such joy and pride, and I get to have so many experiences I wouldn't have without them. Right? Kids take time and money, and also depending on like the dynamics of your home, it doesn't hit each parent equally, at least oftentimes. But in general, I just don't have strong feelings for it. I think the biggest thing that could be associated here is know thyself. I will never push someone to get married or have kids, or to not get married or to not have kids. So maybe that's just like my age showing. My reaction to most things now is like, does this hurt someone or restrict their rights in some way? No, then I probably don't care. But yeah, whether it be the politics or the parenting part, I'd love to know your thoughts here as well. And then we'll get to more news in just a moment. But first, I gotta share how today's sponsor, Rove Lab, can change your life. And I know that sounded dramatic, but hear me out, right? The M1 sofa, it solves everything you hate about buying furniture. This sofa, it arrives completely ready to use, no tools, no confusing instructions, no extra hands needed. You can literally move it by yourself. Yes, you heard me right. Whether you're in a tiny apartment, walk-up, or a big house, the M1 sofa, it fits perfectly, and you don't need to wrestle it to get it through your door. By getting a good sofa, it has never been easier. The M1 sofa is built to make your life simpler with zero sacrifice on style or comfort. It comes straight out of the box, and it's good to go. In a couple of days, the sofa will be fully firm. Plus, this thing is built for real life. Pets, kids, spills, no problem. The performance weave fabric, it is durable, spill-resistant, and safe for the whole family. And thanks to smart foam technology, the cushions actually get better with use, unlike traditional sofas that just go flat. And what's even cooler, it's modular. So if you need to rearrange or squeeze it into a tight space, it adapts to your life. So forget the hassle of traditional furniture and unbox comfort at rovelab.com/DeFranco, or scan the QR code and get $200 off, only for the next 7 days and only for you beautiful bastards. Sit back, relax, and enjoy M1. But then next up from that, a race and election for a single state Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin could determine the fate of Western civilization, at least according to Elon Musk, who, yes, is liable to exaggerate, though in this case, he may be kind of right, which is also why you have people saying that he is trying to buy a win here. So everyone should be aware of it, but especially if you live in Wisconsin, you need to know that the election happens tomorrow, April 1st. And on one side, you have the liberal Susan Crawford, a Dane County judge, and on the other side, you have conservative Brad Schimmel, a judge and former Republican state attorney general. So where we're at is if Crawford wins, the court will keep its liberal majority, and if Schimmel wins, it'll flip conservative. With this race being seen as pivotal not only for local politics, but also for the country as a whole. So first, as far as the local stuff, the court is set to decide 2 cases that could determine whether abortion is banned statewide. And this is Republicans are also worried it could reverse a voter ID law and restrictions on collective bargaining for most public workers in the state. But then also, as far as the national stuff, Wisconsin, of course, is a swing state, and the court could redraw the congressional map. So while now 6 of the state's 8 federal representatives are Republican, a liberal court might change that. And this is the GOP's majority in the House right now is razor thin, right? It's just 3 seats. So conceivably, the outcome of this Wisconsin Supreme Court race, it could flip the balance in Congress, giving the Democrats more power to block Trump's agenda. So with the stakes that high, it's no wonder that the GOP has mobilized like crazy, with Trump endorsing Schimmel, Don Jr. holding a rally for him, and Elon Musk having the judge on X for an audio live stream interview. And that is in addition to holding his own rally in Wisconsin on Sunday, where he impressed upon his supporters the need to get out the vote.
I feel like this is one of those things that may not seem that it's going to affect the entire destiny of humanity, but I think it will.
Just like he poured nearly $300 million into the presidential race, Musk has devoted a fair bit of money to this one as well, with him and groups affiliated with him spending $20 million in Wisconsin, which is over a fifth of the more than $90 million spent by both sides overall, which has actually made this the most expensive judicial race in U.S. history. Though I will say, while he's clearly the biggest, Musk and Republicans point out that Democrats enjoy support from a few big-name donors as well, namely George Soros, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, and LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman. Now with this, traditionally, the Democrats would be expected to have a strong advantage in a race like this, but with all the money that's going around and such a high voter turnout, who really knows? Right? I mean, as I'm recording this, some 650,000 people have voted early, with turnout up as much as 40% in some counties. So Republicans think they can shake up old patterns by whipping up extraordinary enthusiasm for an election that usually doesn't draw much attention.
We need to generate an anomaly in the matrix.
And actually, in an effort to get to that goal, Musk has offered registered voters in Wisconsin $100 if they provided contact information and signed a petition opposing activist judges. Then also offering the $100 for each registered Wisconsin voter they referred to sign the petition, though the fine print said that Elon's PAC would determine whom to pay and noted payments may not be made for months. Then, on Sunday, Musk announced a plan to give $20 to residents who took pictures over the next 2 days holding photos of Schimmel. And then he pulled this stunt with two people who signed